Good morning, everyone. Coughing already. I thought I'd talk today about keeping it simple. Weird noises. Yeah. Why is it that always? Like when you're trying to make a video, like, you know, like when you just eat something and go like, oh, sometimes. Anyway, making a coffee in my mocha pot. And yeah, I didn't really know what I was going to make a video about, so I thought, why not make a video about like just sometimes going with the flow, and that's not necessarily literally like during the video going with the flow, because as you can tell, sometimes I struggle with the flow, but more just, I don't know, it can be very easy to put barriers up when you're doing, for example, with the YouTube, when you're trying to like make the videos and you're like trying to think of all these topics to talk about and thinking about what you think other people will want to watch. But then sometimes, and that's obviously great because you want it to be useful for other people, you want it to be valuable, and that's part of it, definitely. But it's also like sometimes you can just talk like this about, like, I can now go and talk about whatever, and it's that kind of freedom, I guess, creative freedom, to just do it on your terms and think this is my channel. And yeah, just, yeah, I don't think it needs to be polished, and like, although I really like having lots of topics to talk about, and that's kind of what I do. Within those topics, I definitely go off on tangents and talk about other things. So I think, like this morning, I was trying to think of what to do for a video, and I was like, well, it's funny that I'm actually making a video about keeping it simple, because I'm thinking I don't need to like come up with something for the sake of it, when I can sort of just talk about how I'm feeling about the fact that I don't need to do that, and so that in itself has created a video where I don't have anything to talk about specifically, because I haven't planned it, but that's okay, and I can just talk about today's reading, 13th of March. Picking my nose on camera. Guess what? I still haven't learned how to pronounce his name. March 13th. One day it will all make sense. I'm hoping the mocha pot doesn't start mockering. And there we are. I wish you could see it. It's just, so I'm going to wait for it to mocha, as if that's some kind of verb. And then I'll pour it out, and then we'll get going on the reading. How is everyone today? You're good? I hope everyone has a lovely day, and having a lovely day depending on when you're watching it. Yeah, I think what I'm thinking with the videos is sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to have a good topic to talk about, or something interesting. But then I'm like, remember what this is about. Yes, it's about that, but it's also a way for me to just kind of talk about things and use it as that journal, as I've spoken about before. It doesn't need to be about specific things always. Sometimes it can just be talking. Let's pour this out. Yeah. Just think it can be quite nice just to go in without much of a plan. Even though my plan was to talk about going in with not much of a plan, because you got to talk about something. One day it will all make sense. This is a quotation by Epictetus Discourses. Whenever you find yourself blaming Providence, turn it around in your mind, and you will see that what has happened is in keeping with reason. End of quotation. Part of the reason we fight against the things that happen is that we're so focused on our plan that we forget that there might be a bigger plan we don't know about. Is it not the case that plenty of times something we thought was a disaster turned out to be, with the passage of time, a lucky break? We also forget that we're not the only people who matter, and that our loss might be someone else's gain. This sense of being wronged is a simple awareness problem. We need to remember that all things are guided by reason, but that is a very vast and universal reason that we can't always see. That the surprise hurricane was the result of a butterfly flapping its wings a hemisphere away, or that misfortune we have experienced is simply the prelude to a pleasant and enviable future. Very interesting. Notice how I didn't look at the camera at all then. I was thinking about that whilst doing the reading. Yeah. So now I don't have any direction. So, yeah. No, I really like when I do have these ideas on things to talk about. I think that's when I can kind of get in my flow and all of this. But then I think if I'm being realistic, then I have to think, well, sometimes that's just not going to happen. Sometimes you're not going to have prepared and thought about ideas for the week as I have done before. Although I've actually got some ideas of things to talk about, I just thought, I'm not really feeling like that today. I'm not really feeling like talking about specific things. But I obviously want to make a video, so it's kind of like just go in and see what happens, and go just go into the video and think. You have that freedom to create the narrative and talk about what you want to talk about. So even if that ends up meaning that you don't really go anywhere with the video, it's like, that's alright if that's how you're feeling. That's how you're feeling. I did have a really good football session last night. Yeah, it was brilliant. It's really, really good. And today, I don't think I've really got much on at work today, to be honest. And then after work, I'm helping someone with their study for uni, for their not like the uni I go to, but for their uni. So it'd be nice to help him. I think it'd be really interesting. And what else? Hoping to do some planning for the essay tonight, because I really need to get onto that. It's due the end of the month and I haven't really started planning it yet. I've got some articles together, but I need to read them, plan it, and then write it all in the space of 2 weeks. Brilliant. I'm away for one of them. So I definitely need to get onto that. Yeah, what's everyone up to today though? I'd like to hear if you've got any exciting plans or anything exciting at work, or if your work is exciting generally. But I hope this can, even though there hasn't really been much direction, I don't really like that. I also think allow myself to do that and allow myself to think this doesn't need to be polished, this doesn't need to be about a certain thing as such. You can make it about the thing that is the thing you're kind of making it about the thing that I've been thinking this morning before making the video, about the fact that I don't have an idea, and therefore I thought let's turn it into keeping it simple, because you don't need that idea all the time. Does that make sense, or am I just convincing myself that it's okay just to not be prepared? like with the masters. No, it's very different. I can just go into this and think, let's talk about anything, because well, it's my channel, and yeah, you've got to allow yourself that. Just being kind to yourself again. You don't need to overthink it. And as with other areas of life, can be work, can be uni. Like sometimes you want to come up with these massive ideas, or I don't know. Sometimes you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and then you're like, I think at least it's great to go and really push yourself, and that's something that I definitely want to do. But then also, like this morning, it's okay to just kind of keep it simple. And when you're not feeling like you're gonna go and do that, excuse me, I don't know, just like completely go completely out of the box and be like, I don't know, really innovative, or I don't really know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? Let's have a think. I feel like I'm contradicting myself though, because I think I want to be doing more for uni. I want to be reading more. I want to be engaging with, well, maybe not engaging with, but just like really throwing myself into it more than I am. So I don't want to take away from that in my head. See, this is just me kind of getting out my thoughts, but at the same time, I think I want to be creative. Well, maybe not at the same time. I want to be creative and I want to push myself further, but I also want to be kind to myself and allow myself to keep it simple again. Not to keep using the title, but keep it simple and not feel like I have to do anything crazy. When that's uni, when that's this, when I'm just not feeling like I want to be doing that. So maybe it links to kind of being authentic. If I was to kind of go into the video today and be like, just like, good morning guys, had to prepare myself for that. It just like, it wouldn't really feel real, because I'm being real this morning, and well, hopefully being pretty real normally, but yeah, now I feel like I'm waffling, but I think it's just kind of finding that balance between doing the simple things well. Maybe it's that, doing the simple things well, because sometimes they are simple things, and I think maybe that's how I feel a bit about things like uni. Like I feel confident in myself, and I feel like I can do it, but maybe I'm not pushing myself enough with the simple things. Maybe that could be an angle as well as maybe not pushing myself enough to go out of my comfort zone. So that's where I'm now doing this and thinking, if I was to push myself out of my comfort zone, I'd push myself more to talk about something a bit more interesting. This morning I'd think about my interview, and if I was more confident, I might kind of put myself out there more and not worry about the, I wouldn't say repercussion, but well, just what might happen if they don't like that. Because that's that kind of self-belief, isn't it? So these almost 15 minutes, I'm sort of like, it's been a way of me figuring out how I'm feeling. Where I feel like sometimes I'm convincing myself that it's okay to, and it is okay to not be pushing yourself a lot, but then I'm also like, is this all just a reflection of the fact that I feel like I could be doing more at work, at uni? Probably. So I'm not going to make this title keeping things simple, because having done these 15 minutes, if you're still here, I don't want to use. I've watched quite a lot of Mike, and I watch Mike's videos obviously a lot. He says I don't like the word pushing yourself, like the phrase pushing yourself, and I can get that, but pushing yourself, no, I feel like, yeah, encouraging yourself to go out of your comfort zone. That's how I want to do it. I think I'm just kind of allowing myself to be stagnant and just like this video. Obviously, I stick to it that it doesn't need to be anything. Like I can literally keep it simple, but I'm sort of like when I'm then talking about it generally, I'm then thinking, well, actually, am I just holding myself back there? Maybe. There's a place for keeping it simple, but there's also a place for recognising that you can do more and recognising that you might be limiting yourself, you might be putting barriers up to stop yourself from fully reaching your potential. And maybe this is a case study for that. Maybe that would seem like really self-absorbed and really narcissistic. I think if I called this like a case study on me, shall I? Could become funny. Yeah, a case study on my overthinking. Oh, I hope I don't come across as self-absorbed. I just think I think we should find ourselves interesting, and I find other people fascinating, and then I think about myself, and I think this video, for example, I've almost spoken for 20 minutes, and I've kind of backtracked and gone full circle and gone from keep it simple, which I think has its place, and even with the uni, like if I keep it simple but do the simple things very well, that will go a long way. But I don't really think that's where I was going initially. I think I was kind of saying allow yourself to stay in your comfort zone, and that's not really the message that I want to give. Sometimes you shouldn't. I do feel like sometimes it is okay to not feel like you want to do something you're not comfortable with, of course, like not comfortable obviously, but do something that sometimes it's okay to not push yourself to do something. Sorry, Mike. And just do what feels right for you, obviously, but other times it's like that anxiety over doing something that scares you and is out of your comfort zone. Use that as the fuel to actually push yourself. Use that kind of anxious energy to go beyond what you think you can do. And I think maybe that's kind of the message of my video, is that I've been struggling a lot with feeling like I could be doing more at uni, feeling like I could be doing more at work, but there's still that barrier up, which is making me, well, not barrier, but it's like I felt like this for years and years, where I could be doing more, but I don't necessarily push myself enough to be doing more. And then I reflect on it, and I like at uni, and I think, okay, it could be linked to, I'm sure it is linked to like maybe my mental health not being good in the past, still on that journey, and many things holding me back, but they're not excuses, and I still feel like even with the factors that are affecting me from pushing Mate, you got on my head now, mate. Got on my head from stopping me from using the word push. I can use it. pushing myself to do more, and yeah, I've lost my track. Yeah, I feel like I can do more, and despite these factors, I can still improve and do more in spite of these things, basically. And I think we all can. I think I'm actually, like, if I'm doing a full loop, I had a one-on-one work meeting with my boss. I actually kind of spoke about this, so this is really interesting to see how maybe like the subconscious, or yeah, probably the subconscious, is now becoming conscious. And where I've gone with all of this is, without really knowing, I brought up the stuff from the meeting and stuff from my therapy sessions, and stuff, just general feelings, and it's come to the surface. So yeah, there's me being real with all of you. It might be 20 minutes of very incoherent structure and narrative, and going back on myself, contradicting, maybe being hypocritical and everything, but it's like, this is real life, isn't it? And we're going to doubt ourselves, we're going to overthink, but I know myself that despite the barriers that I'm putting up, because I think I am putting them up, when that's like to do with my anxieties, like different anxieties, or there could be many layers to it, I'm sure there are, but despite that, I know that I can be pushing myself further, and I can be doing more, and I think I need to bring out that kind of that drive, and to be honest, I think the working in the school, which I'll be doing next, is a great place to kind of to go and to really throw myself into it. We were watching, me and my girlfriend, what's it called? Is it Abbott Elementary or something on Disney Plus? We love it. We just started it last night and we watched a few episodes. It made me think, so I'm going to be in the school, and I thought, I see that, and I think I could be doing, like, when I work in a school, I could really potentially make a difference, but I can already imagine myself not giving my all, and that's really, like, it makes me quite upset. That doesn't it? It definitely affects me. See, I'm not always in tune with my thoughts, but it's like, it doesn't make me upset, but it makes me reflect on the fact that I've felt this for a long time, where there have been barriers, whatever those barriers are, there have been barriers, and I feel in myself, like, for many years, many years, I could be doing more, and this is actually this has been really useful, because yeah, I'm now like, whatever's going on, whatever my mental health state is, I know myself that I am capable, and this is what I'm realising. I am capable, I've got ability. I can improve a lot, but I do have ability, and I think we all have ability to do things. The ability to do things, and we're all capable. I don't say we're all capable, because that kind of, like, some of us might not be capable of certain things, or I'm not capable of certain things, so it's a very sweeping statement, but I feel like I can do it, and what maybe, like, the battle there is, like, knowing that I can, that being reduced down to, like, the comfort of, yeah, you know you can do it, but you're, by knowing that you don't have to, because you know that even if you're doing not as much as you can be, you know in yourself, you can excuse yourself, because you know that there's some barriers, and you don't have to go all the way. But now I'm like, if I'm always kind of telling myself that oh, well, I can do better, but it's like, at what point do I actually do better, exceed what I'm doing? It's not being hard on myself, but it's like, if I know I can do more, and I know that I can put more effort in, I just need to be doing that more. Sorry, the coffee's kind of sitting here. Excuse me. So, yeah, sorry, it's a very long video. I really hope that some of you have got to this point, because I feel like I'm having a bit of a revelation here. Yeah, I just think this has made a lot of sense to me. It's been very cathartic, because I'm like, there I am at the start saying about keeping it simple, but that is just actually a reflection, and it might be suitable for like the initial thing of I don't have something to talk about, let's keep it simple, and that I stand by. That's fine. But it's made me think about the big picture, where I am holding myself back and I'm not. It's almost like staying in my comfort zone, because to really throw myself into these things, it's like I don't really know what that feels like to be excelling on my course or to be excelling in my job, to be giving so much effort into that, because I don't know why, but it's something that I'm now thinking about, and I'm like, what would it look like to go into that school for my new job, whatever role that is, whatever school is, and just put more effort. I'm not going to say maximum effort, but as much as that would be great, but put more effort in and just see what happens, see how much more like fulfilling and rewarding that can be, to go beyond what I'm used to doing, go beyond what maybe is expected of me, and yeah, just really just raise the ceiling of what I feel like I can, well, not what I feel like I can do, but maybe it is that, maybe it's both knowing that I'm capable, but maybe not thinking that I can do even better. And so there's the knowing that I'm capable, maybe doing what I'm capable of, or even not doing that much, because there's like a comfort in doing just about enough or doing good, but knowing I'm capable of more, but knowing that I don't need to do that level. But then maybe there's, you're capable of this, are you capable of even more? So first I need to be doing stepping up to, this is what you think you can do, this is really good, let's get to there, let's be putting in the effort to be doing what you think you can do, which I'm kind of like between doing enough and doing what I feel I have confidence in being able to do. And then there's like, let's lift that up even more. So that's kind of the journey that I want to go on now. So maybe that could be, I guess that would link to the self-actualizing tendency of there's no way I'm getting onto that now, of Carl Rogers. Self-actualizing, kind of realizing your potential, realizing this kind of ascension and growth, is ascension the right word, that we can do in life, and maybe kind of breaking those barriers. Why sometimes I can't get phrases. As someone that did English, I did English literature, so that's my excuse. But kind of breaking the barriers, and kind of self-actualizing and reaching your full potential as a human. And we have this kind of, for Rogers, it's like we have this innate potential to kind of grow. And that's a very umbrella, and I can go into that more, especially when my brain's working, because I've done quite a lot on Rogers and I should be able to define it better, because I do understand it. But right now, the brain is not doing that, to be able to explain it, which is, see, that's annoying as well. That's something where I'm like, you know about this, but you can't explain it now, and I don't even have certainty in what it is right now. That's crazy. What to title this video? It's coming up to half an hour. I've got to leave for work in 6 minutes and try and start the upload before that, so let's really close this off. Let's call it what do I want to call it? It's annoying because no one can really help me with this, because I'm going to be putting it out before, and I don't know how many people are going to watch half an hour of it. If any of you do, please tell me if you've watched the full video and you've got to the point where it kind of starts to make sense for me. A case study. Is a case study of myself really narcissistic? And I don't want to use narcissistic as like a word that we use for not like the actual narcissistic disorder. Obviously, I don't want to like be offensive in that way, but like more the way we use it colloquially of like self-absorbed and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't want to be offending people that actually have, is it narcissistic personalities? See, this is the overthinking. What we use narcissistic in that sense of like self-absorbed and things like that as a normal language, even though there is something separate from that. So maybe I shouldn't use that word, but anyway, forget narcissistic. Am I being self-absorbed? Saying a case study on me. Maybe I am, and maybe YouTube is somewhere that you have to have a level of finding yourself interesting. But I think we should all find ourselves interesting, so that's fine. Wow, I've got 4 minutes left before work, so I better go. I'll come up with a title, and yeah, thank you all for watching, and if you've listened and watched this through, thank you so much, and have a lovely day, everyone. Bye.